In this video, we will look at the standard shots and angles that a filmmaker uses to tell a story with moving images. To an extent, the basis of filmmaking can be boiled down to two questions. Where do I put the camera? And what do I point the camera at? This second question is covered in the section on the mise-en-scène. In this video, we will take a look at the basics surrounding the first question. Where do I put the camera? Where a filmmaker puts the camera constitutes precisely what the filmmaker wants the audience to focus on. Camera shots and angles can be considered from what shot size will be used, and from what angle is the filmmaker shooting the shot. Let's take a look at shot sizes. First, a filmmaker will use what is referred to as a long shot. The long shot is used to give the audience a broad view of the landscape of the scene. The subject or character is not the point of a long shot. The point of a long shot is most often the subject within their environment. Where is the action taking place? What is the character's place in their environment? In this sense, the long shot is most often used for what we refer to as an establishing shot. In other words, a shot that establishes the location and what type of general activities take place in that environment. Does the action take place on a college campus? Does the scene take place outside of a mansion at night? Or does it take place in a soda shop? The long shot is a general shot. The filmmaker tightens the frames around the subject, and the action becomes more specific. When a filmmaker wants to show a character's general action, a full shot or a full body shot may be used. This is a shot of the character from the top of their heads to the bottom of their feet. It shows the character in full motion. It can help to establish the direction of the scene or change of a location. At times, the pace of a character's motion is the most important information the viewer needs. When the emotion or thought process of a character is important, the camera moves in. One way of getting more specific information about the character is by changing the shot size to a mid-shot or medium shot, as it's sometimes referred. This is a shot of the character or subject from the waist up. This will allow the filmmaker to capture a little movement, but more importantly, it will reveal more specific emotions and thought processes of the character. If a filmmaker wants even more specific information about the internal workings of the character, they will move the camera closer for a head and shoulder shot. This shot is from just below the shoulders to above the head. This is the shot we get when we want to focus on what the character is saying, and we also want to get a sense of what they are thinking and feeling. When the thoughts and emotions, or even the specific reaction, is crucial to telling the story, the filmmaker moves the camera even closer for the close-up. This is a shot that is tightly framed around the head of the character. There is rarely any movement involved in this shot. It's all about revealing what's going on inside of the character. The filmmaker may take the camera even closer for an extreme close-up to reveal even more intimate emotions, such as this shot of a character's eyes that cut away to an extreme close-up of what the character is doing. How a filmmaker frames more than one subject in a frame can reveal much about what is going on in the scene. The standard two-shot is a shot of two characters. This is used when we want to focus not only on what one character is saying, but how the other is reacting. The filmmaker can move the camera into a comp shot or complementary shot. This is a two-shot which favors one of the characters in the scene while still revealing the reactions of the other character. Typically, one comp shot is alternating with a shot of a complementary nature. In other words, of a similar composition. The over-the-shoulder shot reveals one character from a point of view over the shoulder of a second character. Since we cannot see the face of the character over whose shoulder is being shot, this angle is used to establish the spatial relationship between the characters. Also, It allows the editor a certain amount of latitude in the decision of what the audience will be viewing during the conversation. It will allow him or her to cut away to a crucial reaction to what is being said, and then return to the individual who is speaking. The most natural level for the camera in its relationship to the character is at eye level. When we begin to move the camera above or below eye level, the scene takes on an unnatural, but sometimes very dramatic nature. A low-angle shot is taken from below the subject. Depending on how it is used, it can give the subject a feeling of power. When the camera is moved above the eye level, it has what is often referred to as the God's eye view. The character seems vulnerable, as if the viewers were gods looking down on the individual. Take a look at how the angles in these scenes establish the relationships between the characters. In this case, a young man is confronted by a pretty girl. The cut from a high-angle shot of him to a low-angle shot of her reinforces the intimidating nature that the pretty girl has on the young man. In this scene, as the over-the-shoulder shot moves from a high angle toward the young girl to a low angle of the father, we get the sense that the father is the dominant character in this particular section of the scene. Take a look at this series of shots from the film journal. Analyze it for shot sizes and angles. How does the filmmaker utilize these to create a desired effect?
She's gonna die. I know it. What kind of coward am I? I'd rather be here writing in this stupid journal instead of